Hi and welcome. My name is Reiki, and this time I did a fan art of Interview with a Vampire, Claudia. And oh my goodness, I had so much trouble with this picture. It started off well, and then I keep on making one mistake after the other. I also added some calligraphy, which is something I'm not used to doing, but want to get used to do. And that was so frustrating because I made so many mistakes. But I still hope you guys like it because it didn't come out too bad. And just remember, I am a new YouTuber. So if you feel like subscribing, please do so because I am going to bring out a lot more videos more often. So let's watch and see what I've done. And I hope you like it.
Okay, so you had a quick preview of the reference photo that I used. The reference photo was a screenshot of the movie while I was actually watching the movie. So it was a screenshot of the TV while I was watching the movie. And I'm sure you can find similar pictures on the internet, but this is the reference I decided to use. Once again, I started off with the lighter colors and then putting in darker and darker colors, starting with the face of the woman first before I moved on to the face of Claudia. I used mostly shades of brown for the skin color, but a lighter brown. I didn't want to make the picture too dark because I thought it would stand out nicer against a darker background, especially since I wanted to put in the calligraphy part, which is a quote of Louis. So I did the face first. I was very nervous to start, but it started off not too badly, blending it with a white pencil. And then after her face, moving on to Claudia's face. Claudia's eyes were shut in the reference photo, so that wasn't too difficult to do. I left the eyes of the woman blank to start off with because I figured I first wanted to see how the picture came out before I started with the eyes. I absolutely have no idea why I decided to do that. For some reason, I was just too nervous to start with the eyes. I was thinking if I make it too dark, it's not going to look good, and if I make it too light, you won't be able to see the eyes clearly, so I decided to leave it while I make up my mind. Maybe have more of a view of the entire picture. Look at the big picture before I put in stuff like the eyes. The arm is slightly covering. Oh my goodness! Here I go again with my tongue tying. Um, English. I'm not bad with English, but I'm also not very good with English, and it sucks that I'm get nervous. When I get nervous, I speak badly. What I was going to say is that the arm is slightly covering Claudia's face, but according to the reference photo, it covered up most of her mouth. No, it covered up her mouth completely. And I decided to make it a little bit lower so that you could see there is a part of her mouth sticking out. Have you guys seen Interview with a Vampire? It's a very popular movie and it's one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. And I've watched it so many times, I almost know it by heart. And I tell you, each and every time I see Claudia die, I start crying. And I cry like a little baby, I just can't help it. It's just like the never ending story. When Artex dies, you cry. You can't help it. So I hope I'm not spoiling this movie for you. But it's an old movie. It came out in 90. Oh my goodness, I can't remember. When did Interview with a Vampire come out? Now I don't have my cell phone here, so I can quickly Google it. But it was in 1992, I think, 1993. I'll get back to you with that one. Let's first just quickly check it out. When the movie came out. It's of course based on the book written by Anne Rice. Um, sure, she is an amazing author, and I actually read the book as well. And there is so much detail into the emotions in the book. Oh, there, 1994. Thank you, Shaky, my editor slash assistant slash daughter. 1994 the movie came out. So it's a little bit before some people's time, but it's a classic and it will never grow old. People will just love it. It's an iconic movie and an iconic book. And like I said, the emotions are so well portrayed. The main characters being Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, and then of course Kirsten Dunst playing as Claudia, which in the movie, I don't know, how old is she? 11 years old? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Google, also. So she was 11 years old in the movie, and she portrayed Claudia. And what an amazing actress! You live yourself into the movie and into the emotions. It's just one word, amazing. So anyway, then I added a little bit more detail with the darker brown and oh, sorry, 12. Sorry. My editor slash daughter slash trusty Googler said she was 12, not 11, which makes sense. She acts so mature. It's amazing. Anyway, I used four different shades of green for the dress of the woman, her mother-to-be, and I wanted it to look shiny like it was in the pictures, so I felt it important to use the brightest green that I could find as a light green, and then a little bit darker green, and then more emerald green for the darker shadows. And I also wanted it to be nice and smooth because their dresses are so beautiful, and I wanted to make the folds look realistic. I added some black strategically here and there for the shadows because it is supposed to be a dark picture. I don't normally use black to do no, I actually lie. I use black a lot for shading. Everybody says you shouldn't be using black, but in certain colors it works. Here you can see me adding some red for the shadows in the dress to make it really dark and make the green stand out more severely. How do you say that? More pronounced. Thank you very much, Shay. With Claudia's dress, this took me a very long time. So obviously I cut out most of it. I first started with a darker blue to put in the frills and where it's sewed together, and then the lighter blue first, and then darker blue. For her dress, I used, is it 5 or 6 different shades of blue? I think it was 5 different shades of blue. From the very light blue to a darker blue to a sky blue to a sapphire blue, because there's a lot more folds in her dress, and I wanted to make it look as realistic as possible, hence the different shades of blue. Actually, maybe I should have cut out more, but I hope you guys enjoy this. I had fun doing this dress, but it was very tedious at some parts because you're thinking, when am I ever going to get finished with this dress? I might as well have made the dress from scratch. But no. Okay, so like I said, 5 different shades of blue, a nice puffy. I'm trying to think now. If you look at the movie, her dress almost looks like a sapphire colored blue, and I wanted to stay true to that. It's pity that I forgot what I wanted to say now. See, now I've got a thought, now I don't. Then I've got it again, then it's gone again. I also used black in some of the folds, but not a lot and not everywhere, because I wanted to stay true to the blue. The darkest blue that I had almost had a purplish color, like the one you're seeing me using at the moment. That's the last shade of blue that I used. I'm trying to think, how long did it take me to do this dress? About an hour, I think. Yeah, the dress alone took me about an hour. And this is definitely one of, I had to edit out a lot of scenes into making this, cut out a lot of, well, my editor, my darling Shay daughter, had to cut out a lot of parts in this video to make it not too long, because it took me forever to make. Then I started with the calligraphy. I used a Schaefer calligraphy ink pen. I'm not very good at calligraphy. I don't do it often enough, but I really, really would like to practice it some more so that it can be even more smoother, and spaces in between be smoother, and proper amount of space apart and everything. Every now and then my ink would stop flowing, so when you see my hand disappear, I'm actually got a scrap piece of paper that I just dot it until the ink flows again. And sometimes when it's really stubborn, I slightly squeeze the cartridge of the ink to get it flowing again. And this is where I made a huge bugger up, because that all of a sudden my pen didn't want to work, and I squeezed it and I tried everything, and then too much ink squirted out, and I made a big ugly blotch. So I tried to edit it out. That was the part where I wanted to pull my hair out. Then I started on the background, of course, first drawing the soft pencil lines. I wanted to make the bricks. I used 2 different shades of brown, going over layers and layers, and then putting in the squigglies of the black pen, and this little squiggly so it's not smooth and everything. And we timed it. It took me about 15 minutes per brick, and I did all the bricks as you will see now. So we cut out, or my daughter cut out, my editor, my trusty editor, cut out the rest of it, because it was going to take forever. But as you can see, then it was finished. I just lightly shaded the background with a light brown there where the calligraphy was, and then I went over with the golden pen on the sides of the calligraphy as well. That also took me some time, because I also wanted it to be as smooth as possible. And I put some gold into Claudia's curls, the golden hair, and some bronze into the woman, her would-be mother's copper red hair, and I added some copper. Then I started going over everything with my fine liner. I lie when I say I go over everything with a fine liner. I just place the fine liner at strategic places to make the hair, for instance, more realistic, to make the lines stand out where it should be more clearer. And I don't go over the entire picture with the fine liners. I literally just do it here or there strategically, where I want the shadows to be more pronounced, or make the parts where the pen is not being put on less refined, where the highlights are. I used the black inside the very, very folds of the dress, as you can see. And further, I used the colors, color coded, green on green, blue on blue, also using about 2 different shades of green, 2 different shades of blue, and then I just made the shadowing towards the end. I added some white gel pen just to accentuate some highlights. Also cleaning the nib every now and then, because the pencil tins to rub off on the nib. And this is it. This is how I have done this picture that took me almost 5 hours to complete. I don't think it turned out too bad, even with all the frustrations. I hope you guys like it. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos coming out. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you don't cringe for my ugly voice or my tongue-tying bad English. Love you guys. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.